It's a Thursday, and we're going to go over maintaining big projects because some of the projects we've run have been kind of wild, and I kind of want to go through the evolution of it. Maybe get feedback from chat here, see how everything's going, because as I do these big projects, I've noticed there's like stages that happen in them, and it's kind of aggravating for probably the maintainer, myself, and also collaborators. And I kind of want to go through some of the pain points of big projects and hopefully get some solutions here, and just tell you what I've done in the past. Not necessarily the right thing, but what I've gotten done, and find a better path forward. How's everybody doing? I saw drummers in the audience. Tails, how y'all doing on this Thursday? It's been so great. You skip the last 7 seconds, run it back. Yeah, when it comes to streaming and stuff, I still have a lot to learn, and this is my first year, actually now second year probably, of like true sitting down, allocating several days a week to streaming, and I do love it. It's something to where I constantly look back and I need to get better about like my scenes and transitions and interaction with chat and those types of things. But you know, making progress. Each time I do this, I edit all these streams and upload them to Titus Tech Talk, and it's been good. I wish I had like more incentive for folks to like subscribe and those types of things, other than just like, hey, if you don't like ads, subscribe. I wonder if I could interface with like the API of some of these platforms. They're real guarded on a lot of that stuff, so I'd like to add more and do some fun things there. Anyways, sorry, just Thursday rants right off the gate. When will WinUtil? Will this be WinUtil or no? As I will put it in Discord. We'll do a brief stop at WinUtil. This is more about just general maintenance of big projects, because WinUtil's more of a mature big project now, and we've gotten a really good team of collaborators. You know, Colin does a great job. Mola C here in chat does a great job with like documentation, and helped really evolve that to where you have a really good documentation website to go along with the project. Martin and also like my drift user, fantastic. Wow, some great collaborators over there. So we have like a really good core team of collaborators on Windows Utility, and it's really makes the project so awesome. It's what make open source so great. It's a really a pillar of showcasing someone with, I'd say, moderate talent, myself, being able to leverage so many more people because of open source. So that's the like the super cool thing about it all, and why I think so many people should do open source, especially when you're starting out. There's so much to learn and so many things I learned from it, where if I was just kind of working at a 9 to 5 or something like that, I don't think I would learn nearly as much or nearly as fast as I have when developing open source projects, which is great. So much fun. But there is some definite big challenges we need to talk about as well on this stream. Could I hear from you about how to run DaVinci Resolve on Mac OS VM? Oh my word. That sounds like a nightmare. It keeps telling me the GPU has not been configured or something. You're going to have to do a GPU pass through for the Mac OS VM. Passing through a GPU to Mac OS VM is difficult. And there's only a select number of models of certain AMD cards that you can use in modern Mac. I want to say the latest version of Mac, they don't even allow that. It's just straight up has to be Mac hardware. So Mac VMs and Hackintoshes in general, I view it as almost on life support at this point, where the writing's on the wall. It's going to die. If I was a betting man, here in about 5 years, we will not see any community for either. And that's by Apple's design. Blame them. That's just the way they do things. So that's kind of cool. I mean, yes, in a perfect world, obviously run DaVinci on your host. That's what you want to do. So, and I love Hackintosh too. I don't say that to degrade the community. I was actually one of my very first web articles I wrote on christitus.com was a how-to article, I think it was like an Intel, it was like a 55WB board. That was a direct board that I used for Hackintosh back in the days when they first transitioned from PowerPC over to x86. Oh, man, those were the glory days of Hackintosh. I loved it. I even was writing like some kexts and things like that to get it working. Oh, so much fun. I'm really tempted to try Hyperland. It has come a long way. You know, I really want to love Hyperland. I just always find myself coming back to DWM, and I think it's just a different philosophy I have compared to what some users are. So if you're more of a hobbyist Linux user, or you just want something that looks like so awesome that you just want to be in a system where it looks better than Windows, it looks better than Mac, it's just a work of art, I think Hyperland's amazing for both those users. And I think based on my experiences, I'm going to put a lot of qualifiers in here, I couldn't use it just because it's still too rough around the edges. And when I'm in Linux, I want the most stable, reliable, replicatable environment possible. Meaning it will just work every single time, no matter what I'm doing, without question. And when you really make Hyperland look real sexy, you look at all the dependencies and all the packages that are dependent on it looking the way it does, you start to run into some big issues, and especially when it comes to reliability and making everything work exactly the way you want it to work. And that's where I just absolutely love it. I say it every stream. DWM is the GOAT. Yeah, and I think that's, that, and also to expand on what I just said so far, makes a good point. I use Hyperland, but I turn off animations, and Hyperland is unsexified. I think I need to do something like that and then bake in all the dependencies I use for it. I also want to simplify my DWM even more. And this is something I noticed on my laptop. A couple icons weren't showing up. And what happens with a lot of Linux rices, not to detour us too much here from our main topic of the day, maintaining big GitHub projects, but there's some crossover here. So if we look in our config.h, now there's a couple icons here. Like, look at these icons. Some of these icons don't show up. And what a lot of rices do in Linux is they grab icon sets from a whole bunch of different places because they want that perfect icon for that thing. So they installing, you know, a gajillion different fonts and grabbing one icon here, one icon there, one icon there. And then what ends up happening on your toolbar up here at the top, or maybe your status bar over here, all of a sudden they don't show up properly. And you're just like, well, that kind of sucks. And to get back to the reliability, and well, actually I shouldn't have closed that, but I want to pull everything in and just make sure all we need is Meslo LGS Nord font and then Noto color emoji, which is basically Google emojis. So you got your Google emojis here and then all the other fonts and stuff here. And I would just go like nerd fonts cheat sheet. And like there's a couple things in my config.h that I need to change. So let's change that real fast just before I forget. Let's go status, SL status. What is it? Config.h. So in here, when we look at it, you see these icons. I think some of them aren't from Nerd Font, and I want to make sure we go to the Nerd Font chart and grab the proper glyph. So let's say CPU. So for this one, let's just grab this icon. Come back here, and for CPU, let's paste it right there. Ooh, I don't know. That looks a little off. It looks not quite right. So let's go processor. Process maybe. Let's try this icon and see. And paste. Yeah, I feel like that process is good. And then for this one, memory, let's just grab it. We got memory here. I think something. Oh, I don't know if I like any of these. This icon, I bet you is like rectangle, and it's probably not going to fit in there perfect. Yeah, you can already see it's kind of obscured. And it's just like a little bit of trial and error here, but I would like to use one entire font for everything. Just my thought. That's my thought process. So you are a little limited on what you can choose here. But let's go Noto color emoji as well. What is that? Noto color emoji font. Emoji cheat sheet. And usually you can get like little cheat sheets for these. Mim. Nope. Computer. What are we gonna do there? You can pick from each one, but make sure you don't stray too much from the places. Let's go objects maybe. See if we can't find something that's square that would fit into that. I know, just kind of crazy. But these are the things that I care about because this would make it much more stable and much more replicatable of an environment because you're only grabbing from these two places or these two cheat sheets. Yeah, a lot of people always ask me, why are you so productive? And I always think I'm not productive enough. And I think a lot of it boils down to I usually start the day off and I always say I need to get one thing done. One thing that'll move that needle, and then I'm not going to worry about the rest. If I get more done, cool. but I'm going to get that one thing done. It's all about those little bits and pieces. Same with a lot of my projects, the GitHub projects, is just making little tiny incremental changes and improving every single day. And then it just stacks up over time. Well, let's just grab this bar chart. That looks kind of cool. Can we just grab the glyph using this? Ooh, let's see. I don't think we can from Nodo. Maybe. Copy icon name, colors, stroke. Yeah, SVG, URL. I wonder if there's like a... Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. I've never actually used this one. I just thought it was kind of an interesting tidbit as I go completely off the rails here. But let's go back to Nerd Font. I kind of like their ones better. Nerd Font cheat sheet. So for WinUtil, I do want to. Oh, let's tackle WinUtil real fast. I'll come back to this. I could sit here for hours sitting here. You know what? I don't like how this icon looks. Let me adjust it just a little hair. Linux things, you know. The cool thing is you have that ability. Where on Mac and Windows are like, here you go. You're just gonna use this. And you're like, looks good enough, I guess. All right, let's go to WinUtil. I did want to show this because I broke WinUtil off of the last stream. On Tuesday's stream, I ended it doing a latest release, and then I broke it because the tweaks did not run properly. So if you did run the tweaks for about 6 to 8 hours there, the tweaks would just say tweaks finished. And the only workaround you could do is to download the script and then run it locally, and then it would work. And this was all about like a run spaces issue. And it wasn't entering in and grabbing the proper run spaces because of some enhancements we made. So this is actually the latest release 2 hours ago. This new version has been released officially. Let's pull it up over here. You know, I was hoping when I updated Looking Glass to the B7 release candidate, I wouldn't have to launch it twice, but still a little bug. Maybe something with my config too. So let's launch this, and I'll show you, kind of walk you through. I'm going to do a video on this, probably release it on Saturday. Look at me getting back to actually doing Windows. Some actual YouTube videos. Oh my God. You didn't even think didn't even know I was still a YouTuber. Getting to it though. So here we've changed the design, made it much more readable, kind of fixed all these. Like if we go minimal tweaks, I'm just going to go run tweaks in the background. You should see the progress bar works now. The run space is a little bit clearer. I think I'm going to do some more run spaces optimizations. I was really diving deep into utilizing run spaces through PowerShell. And it's a bit like black magic, because what run spaces essentially does is it allows parallel processing and you to use more threads and leverage the system that you're on to its full capacity. So instead of taking forever to run tweaks, it can just be like, bam, we're gonna go from using one thread to using like 16. So even though I have all this extra framework around my utility, it should work faster than any other debloat on the market. Just because we utilize run spaces, and it's just a very tricky thing to wrap your head around in PowerShell, coupled with the fact we're piping all this into a XAML GUI. So this is something we've kind of been working on and tweaking this out. So I kind of wanted to go over these, probably do that in a video. Config, we have like if you want my PowerShell profile, Drift user actually brought this in using my project, fixed a lot of the setup problems that I had in my original setup script, and now it's just a button. So if you press this button, it'll just fix your profile for you. And we can test that out if you want. And then we have our updates, and then we have MicroWin over here, which I need to do in the video as well, showing this. This is meant for Windows 11 images. And some people are like, what about Windows 10 images? And Windows 10 is going end of life, and I don't really want to support Windows 10 just because once something goes into life, it's like, hey, move off of it. You're going to run into so many security holes, and it's just overall a bad experience. And I don't want anything that my tool touches to cause any security issues or be a contributing factor to security issues. I want it to be something everyone runs all the time, and they don't have to worry about it screwing something up on their system or making them less secure. So that's why I always try and make the most sane decisions, and also say, hey, okay, this is what probably 90% of the people want. Let's do that. And that's kind of what steers this. Ease of use, good, sensible decisions to where I think what Microsoft should do, and that's what I do. Not what Microsoft does, mind you. Otherwise, I just blow up your whole system and install a bunch of spyware. Maybe a crypto miner, because that's what it feels like Microsoft does these days. But that's why we got the tool. So that's kind of up to date there, showing kind of that bug. This is all the different PRs kind of in here. I've been working really hard on an automated script to do this. And what I'm doing from this point forward, kind of sticking to the theme of today's stream, maintaining the big projects, what we're doing here is whenever we have like this type of thing, I'm going to set labels when I do these PRs. So this was a bug. We'll go ahead and label it. Come back into pull requests. So then let's say when I merge these pull requests, I'll easily be able to go, okay, cool. And it'll show up like this is under the bug fixes. This is under feature enhancements. This is under here. And that way, when you're looking at a new release, you can easily go, oh, okay, what's the new stuff? Oh, here's the new stuff. What was broken or got fixed? Fixed. Probably broke something else when I fix something. And you can always revert back to stuff too. So it's kind of cool. This is a fun one too on these big projects, doing the releases like this. I love Windows Utility mainly because it has so much maturity to it, because I've learned a lot about release schedules, collaboration, making things better. And I really want to push things forward. One of the big things I've done here is this is the latest release right now as of 2 hours ago. It already has over 2,000 runs, just in the almost 1,000 runs per hour, which is kind of insane. Now let's go back. Like let's say you want to run Windows Utility back in time. Let's go back to June when I first implemented it. Actually, I implemented back in March and May, around that time period on the releases, but I had to delete those releases because they had improper tags, they weren't set up properly, and they weren't to the proper scheme that all these are now. So some of them ended up getting deleted just because of I'm a noob and I didn't know better. But now I do. So we've got a good thing. So let's say we're going to take this one. You can actually just copy this whole thing and come into here. I don't know if this actually grabbed my keyboard or not, or brought it in. We'll see. And just do like an IRM. And instead of christitus.com here, you can actually just, let's try that again. Come on. It's not going to allow me. Yeah, we don't have Spice client probably installed properly. That's okay. We'll show it from directly all in Windows. So I'm going to go releases. Just scroll all the way down to the bottom. Grab the last release. So 628. Let's see what Windows Utility looked like 3 months ago. And I'm just going to copy this link address. And this can be done on any project. Linux, Windows, any of them. And then I'm just going to pipe IEX. What this does is it takes us back in time. It takes us back 2-3 months, which is kind of cool. And then this is exactly how it looked back then. You can see probably like the tweaks page. You remember how Drift User changed this and put it down here so it wouldn't chop off. So you wouldn't have to like scroll down to run tweaks. Well, that fix isn't here. And if you look at the about page, we don't have any sponsors over there. And we're on this old release. So if there is something like, you go, Titus, you're off your rocker. You've lost it. You've lost me. You're crazy. You're a crazy man. I mean, like, yeah, that's true. You were better. You've changed. You were better back on 628. The utility was better on 628. Fine, just go use the 628 release then. I don't care. There's nothing stopping you. That's the beauty of open source. That's the beauty of this release type of schedule. I'm going to leave all these here. So then if there is some way, or I make a new change and you're like, God, I think a good way of removing Edge, my old way of removing Edge, I think still works, where the newer version with the region lock got patched by Microsoft. So you might want to use an old version of Windows Utility to rip out Edge. You can do that. So just some cool tidbits. I might actually write. This would be a kind of a cool thing for the people that donate to the executable. I bet I could write something in Rust that would hold the releases section and say, hey, what release do you want to run? Or maybe make like a drop-down menu for it. And then you could actually drop back into the terminal, and then rerun that old release. So if you do want to run an old release, you can just see at your fingertips. And then it would kind of blow people's mind, I think, that you could just say, hey, yeah, I liked 2.0 version instead of 3.0 version. And you can just flip on the fly. Be really easy to do, really easy to code. I might do that. That's cool. Let me know. Let me know what y'all think. So that's Windows Utility. I did want to talk about Linux Utility because this is where I'm going to make everybody mad. I want to check in with chat real fast. I'm going to make some people mad. Yeah, we can talk about the updates tab too on Windows Utility. But let's do that real fast. Updates need to be redone. Right now, the updates tab really only impacts enterprise and pro users, where the home users out there, Windows RIP home users, you're always the second class citizens. But if you are a home user, the updates tab will not properly apply updates because you don't have any group policy. And you could manually enable and do this, but it's dicey and usually gets patched out. So we'll probably end up using something like Policy Plus there, and we'll get it done. We'll get it done. So that'll be cool. Now, for the Linux Utility, when I'm saying I'm going to make people mad, we've just gone over the Windows Utility kind of a little bit. And in the Windows Utility, it's a mature project. We already have a really good structure in place. We have fantastic contributors. The project itself, from a core perspective, is modular. It's set up great. And this happened over the course of 4 years now. Dang, 4 years. It's kind of nuts. The first iteration of it was called Win10 script, and then it got modified in 2022 into WinUtil when I did a massive refactor and brought in XAML interfaces and ditched WinForms. Whole different things. Don't want to talk too much about that. It's probably Chinese to some folks, but just know that's when we were able to do a lot of cool stuff with the GUI in script form, because everything gets built live and there's no actual binary or, program that gets compiled. It's all done live in a PowerShell script. Now in LinUtil, going through those first 2 years in the Windows Utility, I lost some really good contributors. I remember Carter, developer Derp, which helped me was the fundamental writer of the very first run spaces. There was quite a few of really other good contributors that have probably moved on, or maybe they check in from time to time, but I don't see much from them anymore. And the reason why they left was probably because the project was constantly doing, and they'd spend hours of work, and then their work would get wiped out. And I know that feels bad. And that happens when projects get really big, especially open source projects in the beginning. And there's a couple different ways I've seen people tackle this. And in the Linux Utility, the foundation changes and structure changes so quickly. When I accept one of these big fundamental changes that is a good thing and it'll push the project forward, I now am screwing over 20 or 30 other contributors because all their work now is obsolete. And they may have wasted hours doing that work just to find I have to throw it in the trash. So that's what feels bad about some of these projects, especially big projects like the Linux Utility starting out, where a lot of these PRs will just get closed from it. So I want to show that now. It's a sad thing to go through. And that's why some people that have really big open source projects, they just close every pull request, or just like, forget it, I'm not accepting PRs. Because they don't want to make anybody mad. And it really, once you get to a mature level, it's much better. There is light at the end of the tunnel, but we're hitting the pain point in the Linux utility. So yeah, let's look at that. What does that look like, what I just showed you? We have 44 pull requests. Out of these pull requests, I'm probably going to accept maybe 4, maybe 1. And then 40 of them probably will get closed. There's one in specific I want to merge, and it's probably going to be NNYY. He's done a lot of good enhancements, but Liam also, or otherwise known as LJ right here, he's also done some really good ones. This is one I really want to go and merge, but once I do it, everybody's screwed. So we kind of have to do it. This is one of those, just pull off the Band-Aid. Once we merge this, every other one's going to be pretty rough. So here we go. If LinUtil gets published, let's read through some of these, because this is a massive change. A lot of activity just in the past couple days. My last ones, like love the changes, need to work through some of the PRs, as this will break them. And boy, will it. We're going to rip it off. We're going to do it. Are there any GitHub workflow issues here? No, I don't think so. It's still only one binary target. Yes, I see. I suggest renaming directories to core and TUI, and renaming edition 201 for the crates, and adding it as maybe under the workspace tag. Other than that, your PR is a very good idea. If you ask me, Chris Titus Tech, I try to resolve everything and merge this ASAP. I agree. I agree with Adam here. So there we go. So we have that. This is the LinUtil repository. It's redundant and included by directory name. The crates. I'm fine with that. Either it's core or LinUtil core, whatever. The big thing here is, let me show you this. So it's pretty much ready to go. We're going to merge it. It's happening. But man, we're going to get this one merge done today, and then we piss a bunch of people off. All right. Here we go. Let me show you what it does. All right, we got cargo lock changing. Fucking cargo lock. I hate cargo lock, but whatever. See the last stream if you want to see a 2-hour rant about me figuring out cargo.lock. Not my favorite thing about Rust. Let's just say that. If you are a Rust basher and you want to really take down some Rust programmers, all you need to do is read the documentation on cargo lock, and then go to GitHub and find a big project that uses Rust, and you will proceed to see some wild things. Because maintaining cargo lock sucks so bad. All right, here we go. Yeah. We got the split of, so right now, these were just done as all in one dependency, right? We're having a workspace dependency and a workspace package. License MIT, as all my stuff is MIT licensed. Some people are, well, why not GPL? Why not Apache? I just like non-restrictive, and I don't really care about the politics in any of my projects or any of that stuff. I just want it as open as possible to get as many contributors as possible, and I feel like MIT provides that. I don't think MIT makes anyone mad, and I like that because I want to cast as broad of a net as possible to get as many people interested in the project as possible. So MIT it is. That's why I choose it. Even though GPL I really like because it forces everyone that uses any derivatives of the work to keep their stuff open source. Mine doesn't work that way since it's MIT. I think all you need to do is give me credit if you take my code, and that's it. Just put somewhere in your documentation, oh yeah, I stole some stuff from Chris Titus. Awesome. And I don't even know if you need to do that, to be honest. You might just be able to jack it and then close source it. where you don't have near the restrictions of GPL. Again, not a licensed guy. Don't really care about any of that. I'm more about just learning and making the best damn thing possible. All right, so our cargo TOML then gets split up here. It looks, we have the core cargo TOML. Then we have the splitting of this where you have the core source right here. You can see the structure of the entire project's getting split. You have core, which is just the inner RS, the inner Rust, and then the library Rust right here. You then have tabs, which is all the stuff that non-programmers will use. So this is all the bash scripts that we're going to use. Bash/POSIX scripts. I mean, you can use it in ZSH as well. We try to make it as uniform as possible. So ZSH or bash should be good. So that's these. So once you close tabs, you'll also see the TUI. This is the terminal UI. And this is a separate project as well. So this is able to split it all out, make it real granular so the non-programmers can contribute. Maybe the people that just know bash will be able to go into here without touching any of the other Rust parts. I love this separation. So LJ or Liam has done this. Let's test it because my gosh, is this a big change. And what this is going to do is every other PR will now be broken after we do this change. But I think it's needed. So let's do it. So this is going to be PR 274. As with everything, cursor's my friend. I love cursor. Cursor's the new VS Code. Let's open up Linutil. I'm gonna come over to here. I'm gonna grab my local. No, not local. We're just gonna grab it over here. Pick this out of the 40. Where are you at? LJ. And you're gonna love how I'm about to update 43 other PRs after I finish this. It's gonna be a bit wild. I had to do this when I fixed WinUtil's release notes, auto-generated release notes. I did a bash script in Windows, or no, it was PowerShell script actually, and just updated about 500 PRs all in one go. Not like a crazy update, but just adding labels. And I was like, I don't want to do this manually. I'm going to script it. Scripting's what the lazy mans use, and I'm super lazy, so that's what we're going to do. All right, here we go. Here's a refactor. Here we go. LJ, we're checking you out. Coming in, popping over 274. Look at all that beautiful changes. We'll come back to you, config. Coming over to Linutil. We're going to do a cargo run. See what we have. And then we have all of our beautiful changes from the last one. Appreciate LJ updating it because we did accept quite a few PRs on the last one. And, oh, this is just looking so good. I didn't accept the Control-C one, which we might modify one of these PRs. You just see it done. But, we'll see. I've recently moved from Visual Studio 2012 to 2022. It's my favorite dev environment. All right, Coding Wonders. There we go. I don't really pull up Visual Studio almost at all anymore, except for when I still like their preview capabilities for C#. So when I'm building C# projects with a GUI, I really like the preview window where when I'm making changes, it kind of live updates. All right, here we go. It works. Hold on to your butts. We're about to make a shit ton of conflicts. Approved. This is awesome. A way better structure for future development. Here we go. Yeah, what was going on with my workflow over here? Huh. Restructure Lin Util. No changes. Oh, I think I did this workflow wrong. Anyways, it's just a unit test that's failing. Nothing important. I'll fix it. Again, early days of a big project are always interesting. All right, merging. It has been merged. Oh. Goodbye, PRs. Make a deny all PRs workflow. So it's actually easier than that. It's actually kind of crazy. What's up, HGH? So let's pull up any PR now. Pretty much everything's broken now. So let's say he was changing this Alacrity setup, right? Needs to be done. You're going to notice, oh no, everything has merge conflicts now. So we have 42 PRs with just a stupid amount of merge conflicts. I'm sorry for all the people that contributed, but in the early days of a big project, this is just shit that happens. And it's rough. So I would like to go through and personally apologize to everybody and make a statement. Because a lot of these are great PRs. But as you see here, none of them can be merged now. So how do we notify everybody that we just screwed them over and say it in the best way possible? This is important. I would say let's use Cursor, and I'm going to just have Cursor write me a bash script. What could go wrong, right? Not just any bash script, though. Let's come back to main now that we've merged that. Let's pull down those changes. Okay, so we now have our restructure. You can see the new awesome structure that LJ made for us. Let's make a new file. We'll call it sorrypr.sh. We'll just say bin bash, right? All right. We're gonna, oh no, we'll just come on over here. Write a bash script using GitHub CLI to write a message saying sorry in all open PRs for the Lin, Chris, Titus, Tech, Lin Util project. Man, this guy and his LLMs. Yeah, I love me some LLMs, man. So there we go. So we got that. Let's see what this looks like. Perfect. So we got that. Repo's going to be this. Repo's there. Yeah, sure. Sorry for the inconvenience. We're addressing this as soon as possible. And we're going to just change this to, we had a massive restructure of the code base to improve future development. This caused, oh no. Oh God, that's just too much. All right, 1 second. It's caused a current outage. All right, wow. That was just word salad. Thanks, Jippity. Or is this Sonnet? What are we using? Sonnet, okay. Oh no, this is Copilot actually. Copilot++. I don't know. One of them. What do you think of the Cantarell font? You know, I'm not a big fan, Coding Wonders. I always like nerd fonts considerably better than Cantarell. Yeah. Because of this, can you update your PR to the new structure. Thank you for your assistance and contribution. All right. Nice, right? I like it. So now we just save that out. Anything wrong with this code? Check if GH is off. Yep. There we go. So we're just going to make sure we have authentication in GH status. We'll set the repo list, this repo, great, state open. Then we use a JQ to get our listing of PRs, about 40 in total. Then we write this message. Sorry for the inconvenience. We had a massive restructure of the code base to improve future development. Because of this, can you update your PR to the new structure? Thank you for your assistance and contribution. See, this is a good way of updating and letting everybody know what's up, because we just broke everybody's PR and I don't want to write this message and do copy paste 41 times. So scripting to the rescue. Let's go run it. Should we test it first? What do y'all think? Nobody said anything, so you know, test it live, of course. Let's test it live on production. Yeah. Yes, post. Go, my minion script. Issue the comments. Do it live. Ah, yes. All these PRs. We'll check afterwards. It'd be funny if it started pulling issues. All right, message posted. We just did 40 posts to all the PRs. What a thing of beauty. Yeah, I like it. All right, so now we got this. Let's reload. Oop. Oh, there's one from Madden. Oh, oopsies. Oops. Yeah. Cancel. Oh, no, it's fine, though. He's still using the old structure. Adam's like, what the hell? All right, let's go. Did we get all the PRs? Yeah, so this is all using the old structure. Yeah, there we go. Bam. I'm just super efficient. What can I say? I broke all 40 something PRs. Let's go to the oldest PR. Did I get it on here too? Oh, no, it didn't. I think it bombed out by that point. Let's see about here. No. What PR is it miss? Where did it cut off? Let's look. PR 262 is the last comment it made. So 262 is right here. So the bunny pet for Terra gaming tweak was the last one to get my wonderful message. Up to 258. So we need to fix that. Only grab PRs up to 258. All right, what changes we got here? All right, less than or equal to 258 for the PR. Submitting. Accept. Great. This isn't grabbing older PRs. Can we expand the limit? I know, I'm super lazy, guys. Y'all know this, but do I want to spend 30 minutes tracking this crap down on Stack Overflow like they did back in the olden days? Or do I want to just do a couple prompts and then save it out and then just run it? Right? As long as I'm not an idiot, it should be fine. So now we update those last PRs we missed. Ah, there we go. Gotta finish the spam. Perfect. There we go. Use your brain power. I just did. I looked at it and I'm like, you know, that LLM did almost all the work for me, but it missed this. So let's go ahead and give it a couple more prompts. Perfection. Fixed it. The BC era before Copilot. Well, Copilot's good for predictive text in some instances. It's got like a 30% success rate, which if it saves me time 30% of the time, I think that's worth it. You just got to be smart enough not to accept everything Copilot gives you. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with a giant trash heap. Same with almost all LLM responses too. So you do have to have some type of good prompting there. Anonymous, thank you for the Prime. I like it. I think I'm going to steal that, though. The BC era before Copilot. I love it. You don't need that for WinUtil because of something called Discord. Oh, Discord. Ugh. We don't speak the D word in these channels. I probably should do a Discord for LinUtil. I like how the WinUtil Discord's worked out with the contributors right there, and it's nice and neat where it's just that project. I feel like that keeps it small and maintainable, so it's not just a bunch of craziness that happens when you have like a general Discord. we are seeing the first LLM prompt specialist showing his mastery. Thank you. Yeah, I may suck at coding. Man, I'm really good at Googling and LLM prompts. Prompt engineer at his best. You know what? I think I might. Oh God, that's just. I'm stealing it, chat. I'm stealing it. Let's go on. We're just gonna rename it on this. Where is it? Oh, here we go. We got to edit the profile. We are taking out new programmer, LLM prompt specialist. Oh no! Wow. Not only, yeah. I mean, LLMs is like autocorrect on steroids. Really, it's just professional autocorrect. Perfect. Save. There we go. Professional distro hopper, LLM prompt specialist, and IT guy. Sums me up in a perfect tidbit. That's just so genuine. Ow! Drift user. Yes, we're using that, actually. I'm sorry. I'm going to go pinky out on this one. We got to put me as a senior LLM prompt specialist. Senior prompt. That sounds so much better. Perfect. I love it. And pro yapper. Yes. Oh. I feel so honored to be part of your Twitter bio. I love it. I love it, man. Oh, wait. Nope. Let me go chat here. Yeah. It's so great. That's the cool thing. But I wanted to show this live on stream as I did it, because going through all these PRs, I noticed this one really awesome PR from LJ, and I knew as soon as I merged it in the early days of this project, it would break everything in all PRs. And because of that, I wanted to do it live on stream, say I'm sorry to everybody, but also it needed to be done. And in the early days of a project, when you have a really great PR that does that, often you do end up sliding 20 or 30 other PRs that are also very good. I'm sure there's probably 10 in there that are just garbage and probably should be closed out. But I bet there's a good 30 other ones in there that were really good. And sadly, you got to push the one that takes the highest priority first and then deal with the aftermath. And that does, you do lose developers, good contributors. And I try to communicate as possible, as well as I can, to help ease that fall off. So I keep a lot of these good contributors contributing to the project because I love it, because I learn a lot from them. All jokes aside, AI can be good or useful. Not blindly trust it though, because it can be really dumb solutions. I thought about making this video. Maybe let's get your feedback, because here, I'll just do it right now live. My thoughts on AI are this. It's not artificial intelligence. It's a misused representation of the term. When it comes to LLMs, they are simply autocorrect on steroids. That's what it should be called. Autocorrect on steroids. Because it'll just give you, hey, this function doesn't work. Give me whatever the top solution is from Stack Overflow. Because these LLMs, all they do, they don't actually think. They don't actually do any of that. What happens is they've stolen all the other stuff from basically the whole internet, right? Stack Overflow, Reddit, all these places have been just pillaged by LLMs. Now, we can get into all the rights issues on the back end of this, but first let's just tackle the main thing. So they pillage all this existing one, whether it's art, music, programming, all the same. They pillage all the existing work. They steal it, they put it all in-house, and then they make a really awesome autocorrect. That's what LLMs, that's what AI is. So is it coming for your jobs? Some jobs, yes. Because honestly, autocorrect can remove people from certain work. Low skill work, mind you, but work nonetheless. So some jobs can be removed, but typically low skill work that doesn't require any creativity or very little creativity. So some people are like, okay, let's tackle art and music really fast because it's kind of one and the same. Because when you look at what they do, these prompts do for art, right? They're really good at imitating artists. And when it comes to the imitation of artists, what happens is this, is you look at AI art and you're like, yeah, that's good. Oh, that's cool. But they don't really make you feel anything. Because usually, one, sometimes there's little telltale signs and things that happen with AI art that you're like, that doesn't look quite right. But if, let's say, they're a senior LLM prompt engineer like yours truly, we can feed that prompt and get rid of all those little artifacts and make it look damn near where you can't even tell an AI did it, right? But I'll probably spend several hours making that image or that work of art, if we want to call it that, using LLMs. But at the end of the day, when I show that to you or anybody else on the internet, you're going to look at it and go, that's cool. Oh, no, that was done with an LLM. Wow, they're really going places. That's something. But you're not really going to do anything other than that. It's not going to make you feel anything. It's not going to like trick you and go, wow, Titus is an amazing artist. Whether it's musician or regular art, you're going to be like, damn it, Titus, why are you using AI art? And that's not going to change because it doesn't have any soul. When you actually have a true musician, like my best friend's a musician, and some of the stuff he creates is just unique and it has a soul. And there's something that happens with that. Same with artists. I have other good friends. I have one that's a really gifted, talented tattoo artist. And she can just do stuff on people and you're like, holy crap. That like pops off. It feels like it's alive, like it's some kind of horror show. It's about to jump off the skin at you. There's no LLM that's going to be able to do any of these things. ever, because there's no soul to the work. And it's hard to like articulate that, but there's never going to be a time where they just create it perfectly. And same with, let's say, something I know more about, my specialty, YouTube videos, right? Yeah, they're going to eventually get to the point where they're making YouTube videos. They already are. You can see it with like some of the voiceover work, going over historical references and things and rehashing things that have already happened. And you can even catch it. I think probably the biggest niche right now, you know, those videos where like, make $1,000 every week off YouTube. A lot of them right now are simply just like movie recaps, right? This movie coming out in 10 minutes or less, and it's just like all AI generated crap with like little cut scenes that sometimes work. Sometimes you're like, oh bro, you really dropped the ball on the narration. You needed to go over and give it a couple more prompts through before you submitted that. But this type of stuff will inundate. There's gonna be a ton of it, but that's just gonna make the people that actually make material stand out so much better. And there's a soul. When I speak to you right now, I can make inflections. I can do a lot. And if you are a gifted public speaker and you have the ability to talk, there's no way to imitate this. Having said that, there's a lot of bullshit creators out there just doing like line level reacts shit, where they're just reading an article or reacting to an existing YouTube. And maybe you could do like a VTuber on the front end. That stuff, those people will probably end up dying, because that is low effort, low skill, and can easily be replaced with already existing thoughts, already existing ideas. But the true original people that are able to articulate themselves and actually speak will succeed further than anybody ever has. But the bar just got raised a little bit because of AI. So that's my idea of AI. I think that AI is a complete lie. I think it's really just autocorrect on steroids in every single avenue, every single thing. And even in programming, which I really didn't even touch about right now, it's really just smart autocorrection. And you still have to have the brain power to look at what AI is giving you and LLMs are giving you and say, that's good, that sucks, that's just downright stupid, that would break everything. You still have to have that ability. It's never going to just evolve to the point where it's like, this is the perfect code. Here's the perfect function for what you're trying to do. Here's the perfect GUI, because there's so much nuance to that. There's so much that goes into it, even more so in the programming sphere, where I feel like the three things I just touched on are much easier to replicate in LLMs than actually programming. When it comes to programming, I consider that like 4 or 5 down on the list in what it can do. It's very limited in my eyes, but it does save me a shit ton of time. So I'm totally okay with LLMs coming into the space. And no, I'm not worried about our future or it getting to a point where it's like, oh my God, it just does everything for us. All I can do is take out the trash now. Or maybe, you know, we have robots in the future that take out the trash. I don't know. But I do know this. AI right now, as it is across the board and every single iteration I've seen of it, is a complete lie. Everyone's lying to you. Every content creator that says it's coming for our jobs, if it's a musician worried about it, if you're an artist worried about the art, you just need to elevate your game. You need to get more skills, because guess what? Those LLMs aren't going to keep up. And if you're original, you're able to actually do original things, you will be better than any AI or LLM ever could be. And that's why I think AI is a lie. That's why LLMs and all these other things are just autocorrect on steroids. So that's my thoughts. That's the YouTube video I had envisioned in my head. I don't ever do really any scripts, but I feel like that would be a good thing that needs to be said, because everything I watched another person the other day that was like a Twitch streamer, and they're like, oh my God, AI is taking over. This is the worst it'll ever be. And pretty soon no one's going to have a job. It's all going to be AI driven. I'm like, bro, this guy's either really stupid or on drugs. I can't decide which. Maybe both. Huh. And that's what I keep hearing repeated. All the AI bros in Twitter, in YouTube, and all these other places just hyping everybody up. But at the end of the day, they're all just a bunch of tools, man. just my thought process. Yeah, the bar is continually getting raised. Just don't fall behind. But I think the other thing I really didn't talk about here or iterate in that little segment is you can use it to do things a lot faster. If you are genuine and if you do have original thoughts, it just makes it so much easier to just take out the monotony and the work so you can get into your ideas and expand on your ideas so much faster. So your development time now goes from being, 3 hours into 30 minutes. And you're like, okay, cool, I'm done. I just did everything that I would normally do in 4 hours and 30 minutes. So for those people that are original and actually have skills, you're going to spend less time searching through Stack Overflow for the answer and a hell of a lot more time actually doing work, which is great. It's fantastic. So that's kind of where I'm at. And like when it comes to AI art, I don't see that really being used anywhere but like maybe YouTube thumbnails, where it's like you're going to go ahead and downsize and compress the hell out of it anyways. Maybe you can get away with it in some thumbnails, which I've done in the past, but it's not like anything I'd ever hire an artist for anyways. That's just, usually I just take a screen cap from the video itself and then go. Here we go. Let's roll. The worst it's going to be statement is contingent on having more data for these models to grow. What average person doesn't realize, large AI models are already running out of training data. Ken, that's an amazing comment, and I agree with it 100%. Most people don't realize they are completely running out. They've already ingested every YouTube video I've ever made. They've already ingested almost every Stack Overflow article already made. Most of the stuff on Stack Overflow now is just more LLM garbage cut and paste. So it's ingesting itself, which in a lot of ways make it worse than it is today. We might be looking right now at the LLMs reaching their peak. This might be the peak right now. This might be the best it gets. We don't know. So that's a very good point. Because at the end of the day, all the LLMs can do is imitate. They can't actually create. They're great imitators. And another fun meme I always like to see is it the iRobot meme? Let's see. Yeah. Here you go. You can't even write code without stealing someone else's work. ChatGPT, can you? I like that meme. I like that meme a lot. That's cool. But yeah. But at the end of the day, it just takes out some of the monotony of the work. That's all I say. Stack Overflow prohibited GPT from answering at one point. Well, they tried to prohibit it, but since it's open internet, they are stealing it. So getting into the more legal ramifications here, which most people don't know this about me, but I actually work for a lot of lawyers over the past 15 years, 20 years, something like that. And my brother's a lawyer. So I'm actually pretty deep in the law industry. Not that I understand legal matters all that well, but probably more than the average person. All of these models, these LLM models, are going to get sued to oblivion by a lot of people because they've stolen the works of art out of millions of people, whether it's YouTube creators, whether it's artists, whether it's musicians. All these people had their work stolen because these LLMs were trained on their work. So they're imitating their work. Now, some people are like, well, that's fine. That's how we learn as humans. So isn't machines learning the same way? Well, not if they can't create an original work of art and all they can do is imitate. Because what makes humans unique is we take and get inspiration from all these other artists, right? And whether it's programming, whether it's actual works of art, whether it's musicians, you get inspiration from other people, but then we create our own thing and our own feel to it. It doesn't just feel like a cheap knockoff, where everything LLMs create is a cheap knockoff. And that's the thing that differentiates us from them. And that's my thoughts. Yeah, there's a bunch of class action lawsuits aiming at Copilot, GPT, OpenAI. All of them are under the gun. And YouTube's in hot water too. I know Neil, the guy that runs YouTube right now, Neil, he got in an interview and got kind of cornered by the person interviewing, saying, hey, do you use YouTube creators' videos to train Gemini, the AI right now? Gaz, thanks for the sub. And he said, well, we only do stuff according to terms of service. And in the terms of service that I signed to become a YouTube partner, it says specifically that I allow YouTube to make derivative works of art based on my videos. But it doesn't explicitly say that they're using LLMs, nor did I agree to anybody using AI or LLMs to train their models using my work. And that is a recipe for a lawsuit. There is no clarity behind that statement. And he didn't outright say he's using every YouTuber's create video for this, but he is. It's pretty damn obvious they are. And you can do a lot of prompts in these LLMs and say, hey, give me this. And you can start to tie it down and figure out, oh yeah, they've ingested all my videos. They've invested in done all this, and you can pull out a lot of that stuff. So yeah, they're going to get sued. All of them are going to get sued. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with it. That's when LLMs become sentient, when they can think about the reason with logic, when they can done what woman has been able to do from the start, create life. Yeah, but it's not AGI. My brother's a lawyer. So, you know, I know lawyers. So obviously I know the legal matters. I don't know the nuance or any of that. There's a lot of stuff with law. But I do know what usually will trigger a lawsuit, and are usually leading up to it. And if I was a betting man, I bet we see a string, dozens, if not hundreds of lawsuits come for OpenAI, for Google's Gemini, for all these companies with AI products or these LLM products that are ingesting all of everybody's work and not compensating them or crediting them in any of the work, because that is messed up. So of course they're going to get sued. How do I break my Linux installation? Let's ask. What is here? Let's ask. I love that question. That would be the perfect thing to get a response from any of my videos. What is the best way to break a Linux installation? Now, I would respond with sudo rmrf // right? That would be the best way to break it. Let's see what they say. Oh, you cannot recommend any intentional damage. Okay, that was Sonnet. Let's switch over to Jippity. And let's see what we got. Oh, you can't do it. Intentionally breaking or damaging a system. Okay. Do we have Llama? Let's try Cursor Small. Cursor Small is just like, nope. Well, that'd be great if it was like, check with Linus Tech Tips. 20 idiots, thanks for the prime, man. Oh, so great. Oh, ask Copilot. I don't even know, can you ask Copilot stuff? I remember back in the day you could do like a comment in a program and then do like a Q colon and then ask that way, but I don't know how the Copilot chat's getting along. I just use it mostly for filling in excess syntax and things of that nature. Yeah, so it was a fun test. See what happens. What did Linus even do to nuke Pop OS? Linus. It was not Linus's fault in my eyes. It was Linus emulated what a new user would do, and what a new user would do for Linux is typically agree to everything they don't understand, which most people won't understand much. But the Pop OS team introduced a bug in the apt update repository, and if you don't, as soon as you install the new Pop OS at this time, when Linus did the challenge, the Linux challenge, he didn't update his system. So then when he went to go sudo apt install Steam, he ran into a bug in the apt package modified by the Pop OS team. So instead, it purged all of Xorg, which Pop OS ran on Xorg at the time. And when you purge your display renderer, it's hard to render any kind of graphics on your display. So what ended up happening, Linus got in there and was like, hey, I want to install Steam and play games because I heard about this Linux thing. I installed this distro that everyone says is good. He did that. And then he went apt install Steam. Enter. And then it said, hey, you're about to purge all of Xorg. Are you sure you want to do this? That's a pretty big deal. And then Linus is like, well, I guess so. Yeah, sure. I don't know what the hell Xorg is. Display renderer, I guess. But I just want Steam. Yeah, install Steam for me. Enter. And then it purged Xorg, broke his system, and then kicked him to TTY console. So that's what the story behind Linus is. The too long didn't watch of it all. It's obviously, yeah, he, as a new user, he didn't understand what Xorg was or display renderer. And the Pop OS team did have a bug with apt that did get patched out, but Linus didn't update his apt before doing the apt install of Steam, which caused the bug to fire off and purge his entire display renderer and kick him to the TTY saying name, blinky cursor with nothing installed. So that's the story behind the Linus story. It's a great iteration of what some new users will run into, and frankly, a regular user that doesn't know that much about Linux would probably do something like that. So I don't blame Linus on it. He gets a lot of flack for it, but I do appreciate his time in Linux. It was fun. I liked roasting him. He took it all on the chin. Like, God, so many people roasted him. I think there's compilations of Linus's Tech Tips Linux Challenge. It was pretty funny. Let's see. Let's go to YouTube. What do we got? Linus Tech Tips Linux Challenge. Reaction. Yeah, so something like this guy did a supercut. You got Tech Hut, Mudahar, Gardner Bryant. You got me. You got Nick from KDE. I don't know him. Brody. And then Michael from Destination Linux, I think. So, yeah. Yeah. It's pretty funny. So there was a lot of cool... I loved that reaction. And a lot of my reactions, what I ended up doing was looking at what they did. And instead of just reacting to what they did, I said, here's how I actually do it. And based on the challenge you guys were given, here's how I would approach these tasks. So usually Linus did it a certain way, Luke did it a certain way, and then I took their tasks and I did it my way, just to kind of show, hey, this is what I considered the best way of doing these tasks and comparing it between all three. So it wasn't just me sitting there staring at their screen, just drooling on myself and going, Linus bad. Like some people did. I like to actually try and do something that would, help people learn, or when they do their challenges, have fun and learn something new. But anyways, I loved LTT's Linux challenge. It was fun. It was fun to sit there and go through. Yeah, Luke did pretty good with it. I think Luke stuck with like Linux Mint for months after the challenge wrapped. And I think he finally did go back to Windows, but yeah, it was fun. Pretty much every Linux creator jumped on the Reacts bandwagon on that. everyone had their own take on it, which is cool. Hey, Rob, how's it going? Why didn't they have their Linux dude on that stream? They wanted to approach it as a new user would approach it. So that's the big, a lot of people gave him flack because obviously Linus could go in and do all of the things properly if he had some guidance there that would kind of nudge him in the right direction. But instead, what he did is they wanted to go in blind and just say, hey, I'm a Windows user coming to Linux. Let's go. Let's just Google and do it all ourselves with zero outside influence. And that takes balls to do. And I really appreciate them doing that. And I think that was so cool to see how different people did things differently. Like how Luke approached it with Linux Mint, and how Linus, I think, started with Pop OS, broke it with the Steam update, and then went to Manjaro, which was like, oh God, that's a recipe for disaster for a new user. But it was fun to see. It was definitely entertaining, and I loved their challenge. Looking back on it, I think I was a little too hard on them at sometimes. I think I had one on the secondary channel. I was just like, I cannot believe this. But looking back, I'm like, knowing that that's how they approached it now, it makes sense. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Manjaro's how I found Chris. I think probably I had a Manjaro disaster video. And then it happened. I have to do a very hacky method to get Linux VMs to run at full speed on Windows hosts. When using Virt Manager with WSLG, it works quite well. Really, coding? I have never tried Virt Manager in WSLG. That sounds crazy. It's like nested virtualization. Although WSLG is more of a compatibility layer, more like how Wine works than an actual emulation. That's kind of crazy. Have you ever heard of Playtron OS? I have not. It's a first for me. I think with distros like Bazite, Linux desktop gaming is going to be much more bulletproof. Hopefully some games like Fortnite won't work, but still. Heck, even Debian is great now. Yeah. Though I agree with you 100% there. I think Bazite is amazing. It's actually my #1 recommendation for new Linux users coming for gaming. If you're a gamer, you're on Windows, and you want to try your very first Linux distribution, Bazite is the best, in my opinion, for you to go to, because it's really hard to break, and almost everything works right out of the box. No bullshit. It actually is like that. It's amazing. So I absolutely love it. And it does pretty good. Love Pop for over 2 years until it did me wrong. Yeah. I run into the same thing, Rob, where I used to like a lot of derivatives of the big dogs, Arch and Debian. And usually when I pop out of those, they usually screw me over in some way. Although Arch has screwed me over several times in the past as well. It's just lately, what day am I on now? Let's see. I'm on day 138 of this Arch install. And I think I told Chad I was going to go 365 days in Arch, see if it could be done. We'll see. We'll see if that's the case. Pickley. Hey, for me, Linux Util feels like we need to have a roadmap for LinUtil. I feel like people are just adding what they think is good for LinUtil. It's becoming a bit of a mess. If we have a direction to follow, more PRs would be accepted and would happen faster. That's what has been why I haven't been opening PRs lately. Pickley, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I think maybe we make a roadmap. I'll draw something up, and I think it'll be better. For these big, when you have these big projects, having a unique vision, I think is a very important thing. Right now, it's pretty general, obviously, but we're getting there. Right now, we kind of have a scattershop approach to a lot of PRs. I'm going to try and close out more. I just need to give it more development time to get it. Right now, Windows utility is obviously my #1 priority, because that's just what most people donate and say, hey, Titus, we love what you do. So I definitely prioritize WinUtil to get usually about 10-20 hours worth of development time per week. And then I donate a lot to LinUtil after that. and it's fun. But yeah, let's do a roadmap. I agree with that. Someone says we should have Jippity make the roadmap for us. Oh, okay. Are you going to work with Win updates, Win update issues with WinUtil? Yeah, I'll approach all that for sure. Let's see. Let's LLM this, right? All right, let's delete this sorry PR. That's pretty funny. Oh, did anybody want that in chat? Dang it. I should have was it trash dash list? Do we have sorry PR in here? Huh. Trash. Sorry PR. Ah, here it is. Here, let's in case anybody wants to bulk comment on a bunch of PRs. Like a crazy person like I just did. Let's see. We got sorry PR. Let's haste bin that over. Yeah. Just so people in chat don't feel slighted here. So it lives on. There's going to be some person that watches this stream quite a bit from now. Up top there, if you type in that URL, you'll get the sorry PR created by the LLM, slightly modified by your senior LLM prompt engineer here to make it work. I'm using the paid version of Cursor. I've used it enough to where I'm like, yeah, I don't want to wait. Just give me all the hotness of all the new LLMs. And it's only $20 a month. For what I'm doing and how much I'm using it, I'm like, it makes sense. Alrighty. That's done. So, make a roadmap markdown file with all the what should we say, year with future development and direction. All right, make it for me, Jippity. All right, here we go. Let's oh, no file to apply to. 1 second. New file. Roadmap markdown. All right, cancel. Apply. Yep. Cool. Perfect. All right, here is our project future. Are we ready for it? Senior prompt engineer, hard at work here. Let's increase that a little bit so everybody can read. Oh, do we have Zen mode? I think I had like a Zen mode, right? What was the Zen mode in VS Code? I like bug fixing. They're coming for our jobs. Watch out. Control B. Thank you, Adam. Oh, nope. Let's get out. I think if we click up here, do we get Control B? Yeah. Oh, Control B is just the sidebar. Okay. Good to know. All right, vision. Yeah, make it awesome. Oh, here we go. Jippity's got us. To be the leading provider of AI-powered solutions for the automotive industry, enabling manufacturers, dealers, and consumers to connect seamlessly and enhance the automotive experience. Oh, man. Oh, God. Oh, I'm dying. That's so good. This AI gets it. All right. The perfect roadmap. To simplify linear algebra. Simplify Linux tasks for all users for all distros. Ooh, I like that. That has a good ring to it. simple, and efficiently. Oh, simply, used it twice. Make here's senior prompt engineer coming out here. Choose a different word. Give me something different. Okay. I meant the word simply. Yeah. Oh, that's better. That's better. I like it. All right. Senior prompt engineer. To simplify Linux tasks for all users for all distributions easily and efficiently. Ooh. Can do like a... make another E word. Add another E word to the end of that sentence. I know this doesn't seem right, but telling you, you have a little efficiently. Okay, well, how about not repeating the same word? Yes, there we go. Perfect. Yeah, I'm not even going to say that. There we go. Perfect. So now we have to simplify Linux tasks for all users, for all distribution, easily, efficiently, effortlessly. Oh gosh. Oh, I like it. We've got all of it. AI perfection. Oh, that feels good, right? List main goals for the upcoming periods, Q1, Q2. Okay. Goals. To dominate. We're Triple E. We're the Triple E company. Move over, Microsoft. There's new game in town. Right here. Chris Titus Tech. You saw it first. To dominate the market with the most efficient Linux tool known to man. Oh, yes. Copilot gets me. There we go. Like it. To create a community that's truly helpful and supportive. Yes. To make a project self-sustainable by any means necessary. To create a product that is truly helpful and supportive. Yes. To create a product that is truly helpful and supportive. Yes. To create a product that is truly helpful and supportive. Okay, well, it was going really well. It's going really well up until that last bit, and then it just ran out of steam, but that's okay. LLM incomplete sentence. You need a colon at the end of the first one. Oh yeah, thank you. Again, I failed English class. You might be thinking, Chris, aren't you American? Don't you Americans only speak one English? Yeah, we only speak one language, English, and maybe bad English. And in my case, I barely do that. I just sit in front of a computer for 8 hours a day. Probably closer to 12 hours a day. It's a lot of days. But anyways, let's see. Public schools here aren't the best. Agreed. All right, here we go. To make the project. Yeah. So this part's pretty funny. We should say to dominate the world. To create a product that is truly helpful and supportive. I think what we can do here is just take this out too. That's pretty funny. All right, Q1 features. What is on our wish list here? Well, considering we're already in Q3, how about we just do Q3 and Q4? Yeah, let's go here. I think finish the foundation of the project in CLI mode. Okay, well, let's just get rid of this. I don't need all that. All right, sounds good, Callum. Bro just spamming tab. I said I was a senior LLM prompt engineer, okay? Not a junior one. Junior one might only press it once. Me, though, at least 3 or 4 times. You just don't know. You just got to let it go. When these LLMs get in the rhythm, whew, You got to let them flow and then cull back and delete about 70% of what they create. You know, it's just one of those things. How are your eyes after 12 sessions for 20 plus years? Good to know. Back in 2008, got LASIK, got 20/20 vision. And then I sit about this close to the computer screen, hunched over for 20 years. Well, actually, that's been 16 years now. No, yeah, 16 years. Still got 20/20 vision. Our parents lied to us. The monitor actually doesn't ruin our vision. I figured it out. You heard it here first. That's all I got to say about that. My mom yelling at me for all those years, stay away from that. Don't get so close to the TV. All lies. Now, when she said don't stare at the sun, that wasn't a lie. I'm pretty sure when I was a kid, I did look at the sun, and I think that's what really messed up my vision. Since I got LASIK, haven't stared at the sun, still got 20/20. So, you heard it here first. Being 2 inches from your monitor, totally okay. Staring at the sun, no bueno. Don't do that. That's no good. Yeah. All right, finish the foundation for the project in CLI mode. What else are we going to do here? We already have like the tabs. Most of the foundation's already done. What other things do we want? Any wish list out there from chat? Or are we just going to have LLM fill it all in for us? I think GUI's not going to be Q3. We're going to be pushing the GUI back. The problem with doing the GUI at the same time as the CLI is when the CLI foundation changes, the GUI's drastically affected by that, which completely screws everything up. So you never develop a GUI unless your foundational CLI mode is perfect. Then you build the GUI, because then you got 2 interfaces to support, and it's a freaking nightmare, man. So until I feel really comfortable with the CLI mode, I don't want any GUI. We'll just put it right here. Deny all GUI pull requests while CLI and foundation is being established. Yes. So this is about basically what we want. Focus on developing the CLI to the point of being able to replace existing solutions. So a lot of the existing solutions right now are just simply too damn long, or you have to go and find a whole bunch of different articles, track down what it is. So to expand on this right here, it should actually be focus on tasks that take time in Linux and automate them. That's really what needs to happen. So let's say replacing the fonts like nerd font and adding Noto emoji almost needs to be done on every single system. Well, we should automate that so you don't have to go to nerdfont.com, download them, or maybe go to the AUR and grab them from there, and then do fs-cache-vf to do a force reload. Now, if you know all those things, that doesn't sound like it takes very long, maybe a couple minutes. Having it automated through the tool would probably take seconds. But if you don't know any of those things, this could take hours. So this is like the difference in Linux users. So the people that already know exactly what to do, it still takes them minutes, where it could take them seconds with it being automated. But more often, a lot of new users don't even know where to start. So they're sitting there just Googling and, you know, searching for all these other solutions only to not find them or finally find them. And then a lot of times they implement them incorrectly. So that's my thought there. Tuned up, happy to catch another live stream. All right, man. Good to have you here. can we get the CLI to not require super user every time we install through the app? Well, it depends. Like if you're installing an app, you need sudo. The CLI itself doesn't require super user. It just elevates when it does. So if you're installing an application, well, that's super user. So you're going to need that. So it only should prompt for super user access. You don't need to launch it with like a curl fizzle, christitus.com/Linux, and then pipe it into SH. Should be fine.
Shenanigans.
Oh, we got here. Ratty, thanks for becoming a YouTube member over on Titus Tech Talk. I did change one thing. I forgot to mention this as well on Titus Tech Talk on YouTube. After I do the streams, I started membering the live unedited streams, and then I upload the edited versions, usually like about a week later. Whenever I finish with the edit, I do make those available for members, but if you do want to watch these streams after the fact, I'm just going to leave the unedited ones for members to watch. Obviously, Twitch is the same way. So if you're a Twitch subscriber over here, you could easily just look at all the old ones too. But all that's part of the membership. Can you make your own font package? Don't bypass security. So yeah, the font package doesn't need elevation. So the fonts can get installed into homeuser.localshare fonts and also icons as well. Same with themes. And then you can just do a fc-cache force reload. So let's see what we got. So we got these. We got our focus on tasks. Let's move on to the next one. I think really here, this is where GUI brainstorming and planning. And then probably GUI implementation towards the end of Q4. Bug fix F. What other big things do we want out of this? I think this is good. I want to say binary. Actually, probably another way. Kind of want to change these milestones a little bit. Let's take these milestones, goals. These are kind of stupid. Let's just take this and we're just going to go focus on tasks that take time in Linux, automate them. Another one I want is remove binary linutil from linutil from being tracked in Git and make it a GitHub action. So yeah, if you actually, it's kind of funny. As we started this, we did a lot of LLM crap, and really the only thing that LLM gave us is a structure, and then we did about 3 or 4 prompts to get this statement. Everything else we pretty much have deleted. And this is how LLMs work. The idea for LLMs to me is just to give you ideas and go, ooh, okay, I kind of like that. But how you worded it and how you did it is just stupid. Dunk. And then just grab stuff. And then it's like, oh, but it does give me ideas. And then you kind of start going at it. So that's my idea here. As we do this, I know a lot of people joked about just doing the roadmap in an LLM, but it gave us a good starting spot and kind of took away some of that pressure or mental capacity to design like the template and then all this other stuff. And then we can kind of just take it and go. So I kind of like it. Can you check 350? I'm just curious if it's something on my terms of a config. Oh, okay. Yeah, if it's one of the linutils, it's going to have to be completely reworked because you're going to have to do a pull, grab all the new changes. You're going to probably have to stash your changes, pull all the new changes, and then re-implement your changes and do a rebase of that to get the changes done properly. It's just I don't want to rebase 40 plus PRs with a whole bunch of code I didn't write, because then I'm sitting there going, okay, well, which code's good, which code's bad, did they do it properly? And then we have all the conflicts from the rebase. It's just not worth it. I'd just much rather program it myself at that point. My work PC is so bloated it barely runs Microsoft Office. Oh, that's rough. We could put packaging linutil for different repos in the roadmap. Issue 333 on GitHub. Adam, on that, I like how we package it and do it in the WinUtil. I really like that development cycle and versioning and all that. So I'm going to probably replicate what we've done in WinUtil over on linutil for the binary packages. Did my changes in WinUtil get re-implemented, Chris? Well, I never took them out. So Rux, those are still there. Or if you're talking about like the here string and those types of PRs, those got put in on the latest one. So that's good. What other goals do we have? So this is just general goals over here. Really, the milestones, this is more of just CLI in Q3, GUI in Q4, long-term plans. For the actual goals themselves, focus on tasks that take time and automate them. That's pretty much bash scripts right there. Bash scripts. Example, removing a user, adding a user, etc. You could do other stuff too. And I've already given a lot of examples, but mostly bash scripts. But mostly bash scripting. Scripts with POSIX compliance. So don't write them exclusively for bash, make them POSIX compliant, and give some kind of example there. Remove binary, that looks good. Long-term plans, what else do we want with this project? From an ideas perspective, oh, geez. I think this is a pretty good starting spot. I don't think we need a whole lot here. I think this gives a lot of people ideas. Long-term plans. I mean, let's not focus on that. Let's not get too much in the weeds. I like all that. I think this is a good roadmap to start with. Basic, saying, hey, work on the CLI now. Let's get that all pinned down and buttoned up. Once that foundation's good, then we can start working on the GUI next quarter. And then for that time, right now, the two main goals are, one, focus on tasks that we can automate in Linux and kind of just take out the Googling and going, oh crap, how do I add a user, remove a user? Those types of things I think would be good. And then also probably streamline the GitHub repository. And once that's streamlined, I think will be good too. A menu to add your own packages, basically install like DWM or whatever, I think would be a good idea. That's kind of what we're talking about here. You're picking out what you're doing. So the current state of the utility, let's just do a cargo run. So the current state of the utility is you have an application set up right here. So these are basic applications with configurations built into them. So you hit bash prompt, it's going to install bash and get it themed out exactly how I have it. Same with Alacrity, DWM, Kitty, NeoVim, Rofi, ZSH. Gaming, this is just like a loot filter repo I built for like Diablo 2. I've actually been designing like a whole GUI for the Diablo 2 Resurrected theme because I don't like a lot of the bloat, especially on the controller play. So I'm just kind of like redesigning that in my off hours when I'm really bored. And then for like security, I need to update this. This is super old. It's old firewall, just basic UFW enable with sensible port denies with some allows. System setup, like this is just doing a full system update. Build prerequisites are, one thing we need to do. Document every function and feature of linutil. That's an important thing. So what I'd also like is like maybe like an info panel somewhere. Kind of maybe down here. This kind of shows you the item list, but maybe like another info panel. Maybe split this out and say build prerequisites, or maybe we put it over here as like a key or a legend, and just say this will grab all their prerequisites to be able to build from source a lot of projects. That's pretty much what that does. Gaming dependencies installs Steam, Lutris, Geo overlay, game mode, and most dependencies needed to game on all Linux distros. Global theming is using both theming out Qt and GTK applications. So let's say you have a dark mode, it's universal between all of the modes. So instead of pulling up like Kdenlive's Qt and then you pull up like Nautilus, so you got Thunar here, and then if you pull up like Dolphin, I think this is Qt, still has the same like dark mode theme to it. So that's what global theming does. Remove snaps. Well, that's kind of self-explanatory. It removes Snapback and then doesn't like an apt hold, so Snap won't reinstall for you. And then we got just utilities. These are just basic function utilities. So Wi-Fi Manager, I think, is just using TUI Manager. Oh, no, it isn't. Huh. Ah, okay. I almost want to... I almost want to do Wi-Fi Manager, and instead of doing it that way, just doing nm TUI and just spitting right into Network Manager TUI. We could build our own, though. I'm just thinking that's just one more thing to maintain, too. So, yeah, I kind of go back and forth on that. But maybe add a document feature function, preview, panel description, addition. Yeah, something like that would be good. Yeah, sure. Create a Discord server and invite the community. Sure, we'll add that to it. What else do we have? There's no mouse support in TUI. NMTUI. 357. Okay, Caleb, I'll take a look. I finished working on a PR that adds linutil alias creation for different shells. Is application set up the right category? I think so. Yeah, we can put linutil in the applications section. So then if someone doesn't want to do like a curl and be pulling in a binary from an external source every time, if you're going to run this tool a whole bunch, it might be good just to install the binary. If we install the binary, we'd need to do some type of check to see if there's a new version before installing and launching, so we can have some kind of version control. Because what's going to happen is we're going to be developing this thing. It's going to have a ton of new features, shoot, probably every month. And when those new features get rolled out, people like go, oh crap, yeah, I need to update, I guess. How do I update? And we need to be able to update linutil on the fly. So probably would do some type of check there to determine what the latest release is. I guess we see if it's online first. Then if it passes online checks, we can call the GitHub API for the latest version release. And then if there's a latest version release, go ahead and replace the existing binary with that version from GitHub. Since it's only like, like 10 megs, it should be done pretty pretty quickly. Or do we want to do it as an offline task and just say update available in like a header menu? These are also some things to think about. So let's just do a curl fizzle. So this is how most people run it for the first time. So probably like right here. Oh, I need to do a release. We don't have the latest version in here yet. Probably somewhere in here. If we look at, let's just pull the latest versions. So instead of this linutil by Chris Titus, let's remove the by Chris Titus in the string 2 for this implementation from just Linux user, and put up to date, or how do we want to do it? I think like maybe update available or something. I think I'm flattered by this. This is cool, but at the same time, I'm like, I'd much rather have something, since it's so prominent, I want it something that the user will use. And I would rather like an update available or some type of visual aid for the end user to know that they're either on the latest version or there's an update available. So I think probably like it's a latest version or update available. Maybe smaller text. Something like that, probably in this upper left-hand corner. I feel like that would be perfect for the end user. Yeah. All right, cool. I like it. So that's kind of the vision there. We got that. I think all this is pretty solid. Now, I know Caleb was mentioning 3 something. Let's reload these PRs. People are like, people saw the refactor and just like, oh, okay, screw that. I'm closing the PR, just pulling it down and redoing it. Which I figured would happen with a lot of the PRs. 357 adds Discord. All right, what do we got? Add that. All right, good stuff. Okay, looks like, yeah, Caleb already set it up. Sweet. It's all community Discord stuff. I'm not going to actually run Discord, and I'm not going to be like super active in it. I'll occasionally pop in from time to time, but I believe 100% community run without any external influence. So the community are just going to take it and run with it. And when you have Discord set up for very specific purposes, it can be okay. I just don't think like general purpose Discords, they tend to like devolve into chaos and kind of go crazy. So all Discords, I'm never going to be running them. I'm never going to be part of them or moderate them. They will always just be community. And that's where I leave that. Yeah, or you want to use Bencord, whatever it is. That I turn it over to the community at that point. That I don't want to personally be responsible or be an admin user on these. Discords have a tendency to devolve into degeneracy. Yeah, then that's kind of where I like, hey, that's where I think the communities themselves, like those that are really into like Linux utility, will probably join them, but it's just the people that are into the Linux utility development and not like general users just popping in all the time and then going crazy. Because then you know, hey, if I join the linutil Discord, it's just for that and it's all community driven. So those mods will take it and do it. And let's say a mod or the admin of whoever sets this server up, I think Caleb's running right now, both of them, which is crazy. Thank you, man. But let's say he like flies off the handle and just starts going crazy with stuff. Well, I just remove myself from the Discord and then remove the links from the projects if it goes completely degenerate. And it's like, okay. And then push it on. So that's where I'm at. But I don't think if you keep them small enough, I think it's okay. But as soon as they get very, very big, it can get really bad. So if people join them for like just general community stuff and start talking politics and weird stuff, well, that's always a recipe for disaster. So cool. Nice. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I like all of that. We've got these all set up. Anything else we want from this section? I think this is a pretty good spot for a roadmap, because I know people were asking about the roadmap, kind of what we want, kind of give people a little more direction. We'll go ahead and pull this down. Let's update the roadmap. I think it's just this. Let's make sure I'm not editing a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, now we're good. Roadmap upload. Let's just toot that. Perfect. Treat it like LinkedIn. I like that, though. The best way is to treat it like LinkedIn. I like that a lot. Silo it out, and that's kind of what I do. Chris, what would you suggest as a way to find the latest stable drivers for a new Linux user? Here. Let's check in with chat here. Yeah, we can set up. I can't set it up on a live stream for webhooks for obvious reasons. People could spam it, and it could be very bad, but we'll get all those tie-ins made for PRs and such. Caleb, I'll do that later tonight. As a relatively new Linux user, I can say sometimes I struggle with partition multiple disk management, where there be some kind of way to make it easier in linutil. Yeah, we can do some. Like, we have an Arch setup script that pretty much does the partitioning for you, but I definitely caution people from using automated partition setup scripts, whether it's by me or anybody, really. It can cause problems. Specifically, if you have existing data on your drives and it's not backed up, and you use an automatic partition tool, it's probably going to delete everything. So you should know that. So it definitely something to watch out for. Chris, where would you suggest to get the latest stable drivers for a new Linux user? Well, you don't really need drivers. Oh, for NVIDIA? Just off your repository. So for Arch users, you just do like paro-s NVIDIA. Or if you want long-term service drivers, which I recommend for NVIDIA, you do NVIDIA-LTS. For Debian, it's a little bit more nuanced. I think in Debian, I don't know if the main repos have it. I think you do need to add an apt repo and then download the NVIDIA drivers that way. But having the package manager manage those graphic drivers is the best way to approach it. Yeah, latest and stable, they are opposites. Good point. Driver management in Linux Mint. Yeah, I remember Linux Mint. I don't think I ever really used the driver management. I bet it's pretty good, though. Yeah, I do need to get the DWM Titus. There was a PR that I wanted to accept, but I first wanted to do that giant restructure. So hopefully that gets resubmitted. If it hangs out for too long, then I guess I'll rebase it myself. They were fixing like Fedora packaging, Debian packages, and those types of things. I do want to get it to the point where DWM can just be installed and people can just use my config. If they want just a really stable, simple environment like I like. Oh, awesome. All right, Caleb. We'll get that going with the auto update of docs. Talking about a search tool for the package manager. Ooh. Yeah, I don't really want to do a global search for the package managers. Well, I guess it wouldn't be that hard to program. Maybe. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. We could do something. It'd be interesting. If I get real bored, we'll do it. An idea for an update. Why not add your logo as an image and have it change color to yellow for new updates and red for error connecting to server or whatever? Oh, that's a good one. I like that, Lynn. That's a solid idea. Appreciate it. Does Arch setup in linutil use the LTS kernel? Yes, I believe so. Maybe not. I did see in the past, I've talked about this, where I had a 7800 XT AMD, and I was loving that card for a while, and then I think Linux 6.6 ruined it. Or no, I don't think it never really was able to be configured properly on my system. So it would never utilize the whole card. It only used like 30 or 40% of the card. And other 7800 users didn't have that problem. Some did. Well, come in Linux 6.11, which is about to drop this month, that should be fixed. So I'm going to probably drop my NVIDIA card in here. I'll probably take my AMD card back from my other, rob it from my other computer, put it in here, take the NVIDIA card, throw it in the inside machine, and probably switch back to AMD here if that works perfectly. So I did see that. Someone let me know and sent me a message and said, hey, Titus, I know you're having trouble with the 7800 XT on AMD, but the latest kernel will fix it. In the same vein as the person that asked about Linux drivers, almost all drivers really are baked into the kernel or like Linux-firmware. So between Linux-firmware and just Linux, the mainline kernel, that's where pretty much all the drivers sit in Linux. It's not like Windows where you have to track down a gajillion different drivers. They usually just work or don't work. You don't really have to go grab drivers. The only caveat to that is NVIDIA, which is all proprietary and has its own packages because of licensing and some of their shenanigans. So everyone hates NVIDIA on Linux usually, and that's just because of that setup. It's the one black sheep of the Linux driver realm. Linux really doesn't have drivers though, so really important to note. Enabling, disabling ZRAM or ZSwap. Yeah, probably that. I also noticed the ability to load the script into RAM instead of running it the way I do it makes it a lot slower. We could probably speed up a lot of these installs by loading the script directly into RAM. I noticed somebody sent me a how-to guide on that, and I needed to go through it, and maybe we develop that here shortly as well. That would be another good foundational change just to speed up the run process of it. Power optimization for laptops and Linutil. Brilliant idea, pup. Let me oh geez, let me put that in there. That was that roadmap. Let's Vim roadmap. Just want to add that real fast while I'm sitting here chatting with you guys. Features. I will just add it to goals. We'll go power optimizations for laptops. That's a good one. Linux, how you liking it so far? Oh, Whiskey just adopted it. All right, that's awesome. For content creation, NVIDIA is king though. Mash, you're right. If you're doing a lot of video editing and stuff, it's just on my inside PC where I have my AMD. That's actually where I do most of my video editing, not on this machine. And this machine has the NVIDIA card, so it would be better served on the inside machine than here. It's just the AMD card's not working for gaming where I do a lot of gaming, and here where I prefer it. Thinking of doing an HTPC for the PC to Alaska. I know I'm going to use Linux for it. Do you know what the statuses of Intel Arc cards are on Linux? Ooh, you know, I'd never really mess with Intel Arc just because I don't want to mess with bugs. If it was for like a business or something like that, I don't think I would bother with the Intel. I would just go with the most stable. I know that's like not an attractive thing to say, but at the end of the day, I'm always like, this always works for me, therefore I just do this and just use my experience. And usually it steers me in the correct direction. So I don't really pay attention to what a lot of other people are doing. I just figure out what works the best for me, and then I just do that. Why not a mouse over or window on the right side? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Lynn, for the description. Like when a certain option is selected, it'll change the description of that and say, hey, this is what this option does, and give a better description of it. We'll get that implemented. I like it. Well, all right, guys, I'm going to cut it short today. A little short stream for me. I just wanted to hop on here, kind of talk about these big projects, kind of give some more direction, roadmap, and then also talk about how they're being developed and those types of things. And kind of show what the future holds. So it's really good as like a check-in. Maybe once a month we do this type of stream just to kind of get our bearings straight, get everything set up exactly how we want it. And man, it's been fun. And today's my 15th wedding anniversary. So yeah, pretty cool. So me and my wife will probably go hang out for a bit. I'm going to kind of take it chill, easy, but I'll probably jump back on later and finish with those docs updates and other stuff before going to bed. So pretty stoked. It was a fun. So thanks all for the best wishes and stuff for the anniversary. It's always been fun. I've loved being married with my wife for 15 years. So I look forward to the next 15. So thank you all. Love you. Have a good one. Peace.